is evident that the future of banking sector hinges upon a deep understanding of the opportunities and the challenges that the industry faces today. And no one could offer better insights into these matters other than the chairman, Pakistan Banks Association, Mr. Zafar Masood, who is present here with us today. Mr. Masood, who is also the CEO of the Bank of Punjab, is a dynamic banker, entrepreneur, and a public sector leader with over 30 years of experience across international banking, development finance, and corporate governance. In addition to PBA, he is also the chairman of Oil and Gas Development Company, playing a pivotal role in shaping the nation's financial and energy sectors. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Zafar Masood to the stage to deliver his keynote address.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to be here. It's always healthy to have a dialogue and discussion and debate. I'm also very glad to hear that, Maru said that this is a continuation of series of such forum and discussions. It's an interesting situation in which the conundrum that the banking industry is in. But in order to do a holistic and unbiased assessment of the situation, we must appreciate some facts on the ground and also try and decipher the mystery element X in the words of Jawad and Rimal. At the outset, one has to recognize that the banks operate in the economy where 52% of GDP comprises of the sectors that are untaxed, undocumented, with a deposit contribution of merely 16% from the infamous or famous, as you like to say, retail, real estate and agriculture sectors. अभी जो मारूफ दिखा रहे थे 1% का एनालॉजी कि वो बैंकिंग परफॉर्मेंस 1% जो है वो 0.68 करती है, वो तो बड़ी डेवलप्ड इन्वायरमेंट में। यहाँ तो मेरा ख्याल है हमारा हिस्सा उल्टा होगा, माइनस होगा शायद गालिबन, because of the factors that I'm going to outline to you now. These factors happen to be priority sectors of any economy and poses the biggest opportunity for the banking sector to ramp up its assets, particularly mortgages and their related deposits. But unfortunately, the banks in Pakistan have no choice but to remain out of these key sectors due to lack of documentation and inherent informality, consequently fundamentally misaligning with the economic growth. The banks in Pakistan have tried very hard to have their hands on to the proxy data, telcos, power utilities, etc., to extend credit in these sectors, particularly SME and agriculture, in the absence of verifiable, authentic data, but no success so far. As the authorities who have the repository of these data are reluctant to share it with the banks, even on a selective, restrictive basis. वो जैसे नाग बैठा होता है ना एक, उसके ऊपर हमारा खजाना होता है, उस तरह ये बैठे हुए नाग, और ये नाग जो है ये डेटा शेयर करने को तैयार नहीं है। एक हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब थे जो हर ट्यूसडे को एक मीटिंग किया करते थे इसी में से एक प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर के लिए, और उन्होंने नाक रगड़ ली, वो चले गए बेचारे, उनकी टाइम ख़त्म हो गया, डेटा नहीं मिला उन्हें। ये मैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर की बात कर रहा हूँ, उनको टेलको का डेटा नहीं मिला। मुनीर कमाल साहब की जो पीबीए है उसमें बैंकों ने इकट्ठे होके तकरीबन कोई $2-2.5 लाख भी खर्च कर दिए टू क्रिएट दिस डिजिटल स्कोर कार्ड। डेटा नहीं मिला, आमिर नोज। Resultantly, 80% of the formal credit is concentrated amongst just 25,000 borrowers, while SMEs, which contribute 40% of GDP, receives merely 6% of total credit in contrast to 15 to 20% in peer economies. Now, अगर हम उस पर प्लॉट करेंगे पाकिस्तान, तो मुझे बहुत ही वो नंबर जो है और बहुत ख़राब लगेगा इसमें। Other than informality, interest rates in double digits makes the lending totally unviable. So in any sector, but for these sectors particularly, because of the risk factor on top of it. With these facts in perspective, how do you expect banks to lend and align its growth? ये मैं बार जवाद का ये जो नाम है ना, ये जवाद ने उठाया, align its growth with the economic growth or play a part in pushing the economic growth for that matter. The result is that the private sector credit to GDP ratio is only 18.4%, starkly lower than India's 55%, Bangladesh 48%, Vietnam 73%. The funding requirement of the dominant borrower, the government of Pakistan, is a bottomless pit and is another reason which crowds out the credit to the private sector. Interestingly enough, it's a bizarre equation whereby taxing the untaxed sector would reduce the borrowing of the dominant borrower from the banking sector, and as a result, availability of liquidity to lend to the documented private sector for the banks. This shows a very clear picture of where the core nuisance rests in the system. देखिए इसको प्लीज जरूर अप्रिशिएट कीजिए, ये एक सर्कुलर टाइप का इशू है. आप टैक्स कीजिए इन टैक्स सेक्टर्स को, जब आप इन सेक्टर्स को टैक्स करेंगे तो ये डॉक्यूमेंट होंगे और फिर हमारे पास भी लिक्विडिटी अवेलेबल होगी, गवर्नमेंट की बोरिंग भी नहीं जरूरत पड़ेगी, एंड वील बी एबल टू लेंड टू देम. So while it's fashionable to criticize the banks, and it's banks are on the dartboard all the time, especially these days, but the fact is कि हमें थोड़ा सा इसको जरा डिटेल में जाके देखना पड़ेगा कि असल में न्यूसेंस है कहाँ पर. The banks are being accused of becoming lazy or turning into a hedge fund virtually, soliciting cheaper deposits and investing them in risk-free government securities. While this criticism to the extent of banks become lethargic and making no effort to be creative in supporting various growth facets of the economy may be factual. However, the flip side is that the banks have no choice on the matter. I repeat, no choice on the matter. In reality, despite the risk of sovereign restructuring on extremely unreasonable and loss-making terms as the banks were subjected to. In the case of PIA earlier this year, for example, the banks can't stop meeting the fiscal deficit requirements of the government. It's just not possible. Currently, according to an estimate, banks fund over 85% of the total fiscal needs of the government. मेरा अपना ख्याल ये है कि 93% है, but nevertheless. Just imagine a situation where banks stop lending to the government. You know what will happen? Unimaginable. Nothing would move and the economy will come to a standstill. No gas, no electricity, food security issues. And surely a sovereign default, both on the local and the international debt, is guaranteed. There will be no opportunity to lend to the private sector either. So while we keep on campaigning that we have to lend to the private sector, the problem is that we have to save this big elephant in the room, government of Pakistan, to make sure that the private sector continue to operate. If you pull the plug there, private sector will disappear. If anything, banks are doing a great service to the nation by lending to the government and supporting their fiscal needs, by assuming excessive risk of restructuring. And this is a very real risk that we are aware of. But unfortunately, there is a limited choice on the matter. The industry, however, is very well aware of the situation and actively working on the development of necessary ecosystem to support financing to priority sectors, that is SME, agriculture and digital, to attract FX flows through remittances, foreign direct investment, and becoming part of the global supply chain as we've witnessed in case of Singapore. The Pakistan Banks Association is focused on developing and building a more inclusive and sustainable financial environment by advancing initiatives such as electronic warehouse receipt financing, rolling out SME Perception Index, developing corporate farming prototypes, establishing venture capital fund, revival of agriculture cooperatives, and setting up financial data exchange. These initiatives mark substantial steps towards ecosystem evolution with full impact to be realized in years to come. These projects, while progressing well, require time to mature and deliver tangible benefits. Efforts by the industry towards achieving cashless economy through the use of digital transformation and technology results into, there are various statistics which I am skipping right now. We must appreciate and shall not shy away in asking for the government support. देखिए ये भी बड़ा तीसरा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो मैं आपसे हाईलाइट करना चाह रहा हूँ पॉइंट, वो ये कि गवर्नमेंट की सपोर्ट पे परेशान मत हो। आप बिल्कुल मत घबराएं कि आपने गवर्नमेंट की सपोर्ट मांगनी है फॉर प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर फाइनेंसिंग। क्या प्रॉब्लम है इसमें? अगर टेस्ला जो है वो जाके इन देयर इनिशियल ईयर्स द यूएस डिपार्टमेंट डिफेंस का एनर्जी फंड का लोन ले सकता है कंसेशनल, तो हमें क्या परेशानी है? अमेरिका द मेका ऑफ फ्री इकोनॉमी एंड डिफरेंट लेवल ऑफ मेच्योरिटी लाइफ साइकिल, अगर वो सपोर्ट आज तक कर रहे हैं, पता नहीं हमें क्या परेशानी है। एक नैरेटिव ये बना दिया कि नहीं जी सरकार से पैसे नहीं लेने, सपोर्ट नहीं लेनी, बिल्कुल लेने हैं, उनका राइट है, हमारा राइट है, मगर हमें सही सेक्टर पे लेने हैं और हमें जो है जिसका पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट लॉन्ग टर्म होगा, और वो कंसेशनल फाइनेंसिंग जो है दैट मस्ट बी टाइम बाउंड एंड परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड सो दैट वी इवैल्यूएट द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ इट। पीबी इन दिस रिस्पेक्ट एक्टिवली वर्किंग विद द फेडरल गवर्नमेंट कि हमें आप सब्सिडी दें, हमें फर्स्ट लॉस गारंटी दें, हम 2 व्हीलर 3 व्हीलर ईवी भी करेंगे, हम डिजिटाइजेशन एंड टू एंड करेंगे फॉर एनर्जी गजलर फैन फाइनेंसिंग, और हम सोलराइजेशन ऑफ ट्यूबवेल भी करेंगे जो ऑफ ग्रिड है। On the other side of the equation, there are serious distortions like ADR tax, for example, which will discourage the deposits, and since the opportunities of lending are few and far between, जिस तरह मैंने आपसे भी कहा. Thank God SBP realized the grave side effects of MDR and have it rationalized. This will help in discouraging the large liquid assets and corporates to place money with banks, arbitraging them for rent-seeking returns rather than reinvesting them in their own related diversified businesses to spur economic activity and create employment. For their excess liquidity in normal course, उनकी एक्टिव ट्रेजरीज हैं, वो जाएं जाके गवर्नमेंट पर डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्ट करें। आज ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन में बैंक एज अ कॉन्डुइट यूज होते हैं, आप हमें 2% उसके ऊपर पे करते हैं, क्यों पे कर रहे हैं? हमें जाएं जाके डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट के अंदर डालें पैसे। The recent move on MDR will protect the individuals, small depositors, and will surely continue with their savings with the banks. However, its applicability on Islamic banks need to be reviewed. The private entities have been kept out, they need to be brought in as well. And जो clarification की ज़रूरत है कि फेडरल और प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स में शामिल है या नहीं है, वो हम बड़ा एक्टिवली काम कर रहे हैं विद स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पाकिस्तान, वी गेट इट सॉर्टेड आउट। बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री पेड 1618 बिलियन का टैक्स लास्ट ईयर, और इस साल वो उससे भी बढ़ जाएगा। डिस्पाइट ऑल ऑफ दिस, हम तो कह रहे हैं कि हमसे और टैक्स ले लो। ये मुझे बता दें कौन सा सेक्टर है इस इकोनॉमी का जहां सारे सेक्टर्स बड़ी इफेक्टिवली कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमें 1 रुपए का टैक्स ना देना पड़े। यहां एक बैंकिंग सेक्टर खड़ा हुआ आपसे कह रहा है हमसे और टैक्स ले लें, पर खुदा के वास्ते सही मद में ले लें जो हमारी इनकम से रिलेटेड है, डिस्टॉर्ट ना करें मार्केट से बाय हैविंग ADR टाइप टैक्सेस। 49% टैक्स ब्रैकेट में है, विच इज द हाईएस्ट टैक्स ब्रैकेट ऑफ फॉर एनी सेक्टर, एंड पूरे रीजन के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा हाईएस्ट टैक्स जो है वो बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री का इन द बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री इन दिस रीजन भी है। हमारा तो ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि टैक्सेशन आए, गवर्नमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट कम हो, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन बढ़े, प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जाएं, उनको लेंड करें, बट some kind of engagement is necessary. And forum like this, I'm very thankful to Jawad and Maroof for giving us the opportunity for everybody to talk about this. तो इसी तरह की engagement discussion होगी तो हम अपनी side of the story रखेंगे, और हमें भी, मैंने इस तरह कहा, हम कोई perfect नहीं है, हमें भी improvement की जरूरत है, मगर प्लीज हमारी सिचुएशन को समझने की कोशिश कीजिए। It's not as simple or as difficult to understand. At the end, whether it's the generous contribution to the public exchequer, contribution to the fiscal deficit, or offering to contribute even all the way, other way around, CSR तो चलते रहता है, which is something unusual and unheard of emerging economies, particularly in our beloved country, on which the banking sector deserves to be applauded. Thank you very much.